There's enough drama and trauma in the world, so we're here to serve up joy, laughs, inspiration, and motivation to lift your spirits. In this episode, we're opening up about those lonely moments, but remind yourself, you're never truly alone. We'll also tap into gratitude, community, and prayer to help us stay grounded and elevate. We are your co-hosts, Jenn Tha Godmutha, Rae Cerre, Cortni J, and FashionablyShe. And we're so glad you're here. Welcome home. Let's get into it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for joining in to Let's Be Real and Not Right. We have an exciting segment for you today. We're going to do some takeaways. So y'all listen, we got a lot to talk about because we've talked about so much with this book that we have plenty of takeaways. I know I have plenty. So I'm going to kick it over here to Kyla. But first, I am Rae Cerre for the ones who don't know.
Come on.
And I am Kyla Thomas, FashionablyShe on all social media platforms.
It's me, Cortni J. What's good?
And it's me, Jenn Tha Godmutha. What's up, y'all?
Hey. All right, so am I kicking off my takeaway? The theme of the book for me is, and I don't know if y'all heard this term, I'm sure everyone have, lonely but never alone.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the theme for me because I feel like Eve and a lot of celebrities, they have these entourage, they have the managers, they have the stylists, they have everybody, right? Mm-hmm. But they're just still empty. They're still alone inside. Mm-hmm. We heard over and over Eve say that nobody had her back. Yeah. She didn't have the right people around her, yet she had everybody around her. Mm-hmm. She had the Rough Riders, who was her heart and soul, but she still constantly throughout the book said she felt alone. She felt like nobody had her back. And so I feel like in life, sometimes you can be surrounded by people, but still feel so empty, still feel so alone. And Rae, you talked about this in the last episode, how you had folks who were screaming and cheerleading you on, but when times got tough, those people weren't there. And so that's really what I took away from the book is the whole concept of lonely but never alone. Don't be fooled by just because you have a bunch of friends or friends in quotes, but a bunch of people around you, to really have the true people by your side at your corner. I think is what we're trying to do too with Let's Be Real, Not Right, is show folks that the quality of friendships, and it doesn't have to be long-term friendships, is like most of us have just met, but just having people that is true, down for you, no jealousy, no envy,
no hate,
none of that. And so I'm gonna just keep it real to the point. That's really what I saw, is that she was really lonely, but she was never alone. And I think just as a community, it is important for girlfriends. Some people are like, oh, I don't need girlfriends, or I'm done with women and this and that. It's really important to have true people who have your back, your heart, because a crowd don't mean that you not alone or you don't feel alone. And even look at suicide, when people kill themselves, you're like, well, why? There was this, there was that, there was, I think about Whitney Houston, I think about her daughter. They had all of this stuff, but I just think that we just started off with a prayer, y'all. Y'all didn't hear the prayer, but just the power of prayer over people's lives, because what we see, the vision that you see on the outside and the glam, it's like, you see my glory, but you don't know my story.
That's right.
And so that's really what I got out of the book, ladies.
That's good, Kyla.
That's such a perfect, I was going to say, that was a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Because the theme for me was community. And for me, community is so important because that's where you have people to check in on you, really tap into that. How are you feeling? Because even with Eve, part of her loneliness, that was like a mental state too. Like her mental health was like, deteriorating, things like that. We talked about that in the last episode. And what I noticed with Eve too, her community kept changing. Yeah. At the beginning of the story, she spoke about how she wanted to bring certain people with her. She wanted to try and force these relationships to stay. Been there. Don't do it. But then again, like when she got the Rough Riders, or even beforehand, just watching how at each season in life, her community changed. And I think that's so important for people to know, because your community is going to change. It needs to change.
Absolutely.
As you grow and as you flow through different things in life, you're going to need different people to shape you. You're going to need different people to mold you. And I know this is all too true for me, because y'all are one of my new communities. Like this sisterhood that we have and that, we want to extend to the listeners as well is just something like I knew I needed, but I didn't know what it looked like or where it was going to come from.
Yep.
And that really came too from being open to having that conversation. Hey, let's talk about having a podcast. Let's being open to going out, meeting new people. And, again, community, you may have an idea of what one looks like, but again, you just have to have that openness and stuff. So I love that about Eve because it changed over time. And she just kind of accepted it once she learned, like, okay, some people got to go if this is where I need to go.
Right.
Yeah. And then one more other theme that I thought about. Oh, and real quick, I wrote a blog on community. So if you have,
did.
if you have
on the website,
yes.
it's live and ready. Yep.
So yes, definitely go
Our
and
website.
check it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
ldrnr.com. Let's
There
be
you
real,
go.
not right.
That's right.
Make sure y'all go
got
and
the
check it out. So another theme for me, selfless plug, was push through. Push through. Things in life are going to happen. That's just how it is. And what they say, that when the going get tough, the tough get going.
That's right.
And she really showed that. And a lot of times it's not being, you don't have to be so tough all the time on your own. And that's why community is important, because mentally you can take so much stuff on. I'm good, I'm hard, I'm good. But inside you're lonely.
Yeah.
Inside you're empty.
Yeah.
Inside you're hurting.
That's
and
right.
what you're needing is that community.
That's
so
right.
as she had her community, she learned to just push through. And even sometimes in her loneliness, where she found she was a community of one at that time,
Yes.
which independence is totally okay. Read the blog
Yes.
now. She pushed through. And as she pushed through, like Rae said in the last episode, she learned who she was. She learned
Yes.
how tough she was. She learned that, I can get through this. And remembering, for me, so closely, with God, I can do anything.
Come on,
He
now.
tells me this in the
Come
Bible.
on.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, okay?
Yes.
So,
Put a word on it
come
for
on. You got to make it plain, baby.
You can't argue with that word.
Hello.
That word is not up for debate.
Hello,
right.
not at all. So really understanding that and knowing that, one, having that confidence in yourself and motivating yourself sometimes, or getting that help from your community to continue to push through. So community, push through, and you got
community.
this, boo.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you spoke on community because that my takeaway is when her manager came to basically save her from her breakdown.
Yes.
You know, that was a chapter that really spoke volume to me, and it spoke volumes because Eve had carried so many people with her. Well, she tried to carry so many people with her until it really broke her down, literally. And oftentimes we find ourselves in situations where we want to take people along with us. We want, because now we feel like we formed this community, but our community is not always the community that it should be.
Right.
Okay.
Nope. Be real. It's
you
not.
know, for real. That's not the community that God wants for us. Okay. We picked our own community, and a lot of that looks toxic.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna be real. It's very
make the best
toxic.
choices.
And so her community, she found that the community that she was trying to bring along with her had become such a strain on her that she could no longer really just go forward in what she really loved.
Exactly.
You know, now it had began to just take her under. And so it took someone, that community, that person that really stood with her, that one person that came and out. Now, mind you, there's a whole community around her, but it took one person to come to her and say, hold up.
And notice,
Come on, we got to pray.
Yes.
Okay, let's pray. Sometimes that's what, not gonna say sometimes, at all times that's what you need.
Yeah.
You need someone to say, you know what, that has some kind of sense that says, wait a minute.
So no.
We got to, this is not what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next move that needs to be made is the best move. And the best move is entering the Lord into this situation.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what
So good.
that person did for her. He stopped everything from what was going on right in that moment and said, okay, we're finna pray right here and right now. And I believe that's exactly where Eve's strength came from. A lot of times we're looking for strength through friends, through family,
Come
through
on.
money, through jobs, through careers. That is not our source. Okay,
Yeah.
our ultimate source is God. I'm gonna give my Lord a plug.
Hallelujah.
I'm
Plug him in.
going to do that.
Plug in.
Because I know how I came about from what I just endured not too long ago. I know who was the reason why I can still stand today.
Yeah.
I know why I still have sense because at some point I felt as though I had lost it all. And I really think I did. I had lost it all. I didn't think I can go on, but I knew my source. I knew if I could call on my Lord and Savior, because I'm going to put a name on him, Jesus Christ, because he's just not a God. He is the God, okay? So, because there's a lot of gods out here, but there's one true and living God, which his name is Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And so that is the source in which I feel that all of our strength comes from.
Yeah.
Everything starts to make sense. And I think that's exactly what it took for her. And then also to see who her real community really was. Okay? Because the ones that were basically dragging her down, she couldn't see that.
Yeah.
And it takes someone to come along that has that spiritual keenness sometimes and say, hey, girl, this ain't what that is. Okay?
For sure.
That was my takeaway from the whole book. I love that part.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that you picked that one.
You
so
are? Why?
I don't know. Like, I thought you would pick something else, but I love that all of y'all like stuck with community, and like, because I just have to reiterate and introduce one of the two themes, but one of the things that came to me was gratitude.
Okay,
like, she
that's
had
good.
so many times where she had to stop and say thank you.
Yeah.
Like, that moment with her manager could have went bad. Like, she could have lost her mind. But she always had a saving grace. So I just think that taught me, like, even when it seems bad, even when you get a small win, you got to be grateful for even that small win. So gratitude rang so loud for me. And in the gratitude, I just think it's really important first to say thank y'all.
Oh, you're welcome, Jen. Thank you.
Y'all for just pretty much like, I got hurt. Well, no, I got no pushback. Like, whatever I came to y'all were like, yeah, Jen. Even when I was scared to be like, I don't want to do this, y'all called me and was like, look, we got your back. Whatever you want to do, we down. And given that just gave me everything that I needed to be who I am. So I am not going to get emotional on this one, but I will say.
But I am.
Please don't make me cry.
But
because I'm a crybaby.
Even behind the scenes, and we will get into this more in our next episode, but there is a wonderful man behind the scenes that came through for me in a crunch.
Over there.
He came through for me in a crunch.
Yes, he did, girl.
Even when he didn't know that he was coming through. And so that's why it's important that when you get that nudge to help somebody or to say something, you act on it. Because the man behind the camera, 𝐸𝐞𝐿 Max.
Come on, 𝐸𝐞𝐿 Max.
He didn't. Now, I'm not going to say his government name because that's his business and he can tell y'all when he wants to. But he came to me not for a job, but just to say, Jen, so are you okay? Like, I know you kicking off and I'll just come and stop by just to make sure you good. That meant everything.
Come on, girl.
To me. Like, everything. And it eventually landed us a forever type of relationship.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my final theme. And my final theme is life lessons. Because I know it's a lot of podcasters happening. But I want y'all to know that behind the scenes, and we're going to get into this in our last one, because I'm not ready to talk about it all because I know I'm going to get emotional. But behind the scenes, we went through continuous problems. Every time we recorded, we hit a hurdle.
Yeah. Push back.
Every time. But every time we made it. And that's what this whole book is about.
Yeah.
She hit so many hurdles, but she kept going. And the more that I read it, the more I understood why that had to be our intro to the world. Yeah. Because that book taught me that no matter what happened behind the scenes, no matter who didn't come through, no matter who tried to push back, no matter who tried to compete, no matter who didn't support, we had to keep going, and we did.
That's right.
We did. We kept going, and it wasn't easy. We had the wrong equipment, no equipment, bad equipment, bad weather.
But who knew?
Who knew? Nobody knew, right? We kept that thing. We kept it pushing because I had a good community.
Yes.
Not just the ladies here, not just the man behind the camera, but I had family that were rooting for me. I had people online that I never met rooting
Talk
for me
about
it.
and praying for me.
It be the ones you don't know, girl.
It be the ones that you don't
Be the
know.
ones
So
you don't know,
supporters,
yeah.
right?
Literally.
So
That's
for
true.
all of y'all who supported us and you may not have
Thank
met
you.
us,
Yeah.
we definitely
Thank y'all.
appreciate
Thank you
you
so
because
much. Yes.
we hit some hurdles.
Yes.
No, baby, we hit some boulders.
We hit some hurdles
Boulders.
in this podcast, and
But we made it look easy, girl.
we did because I was determined
Come on.
to not
Come
let
on,
it.
V.
I was determined to not
See?
let it stop us. I was determined because there is one thing that I don't like doing, and that's starting a thing and not finishing it.
You sure right.
I don't.
Because, baby, this book, you would not listen. Child, I'm going to tell you.
She wouldn't let us finish.
I was trying to finish the book early. Real early.
Wrap it up.
I said, no, we
Jen
started
wasn't
this
having
thing.
that.
I said, no, we started this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to finish this book out. Because that's what my dad taught me, because we live in a very small town, and in that small town you are front seat to see a lot of people moving fast through life. But what my dad taught me is that the steady one always wins the race.
All right. Your daddy got some wisdom.
Yes,
and
he
y'all gonna
does.
meet him.
Ooh, that's why we need
Y'all
Yes,
gonna
he
meet him.
does.
And so my dad has
can't wait.
always had a job, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. But he
Yeah.
taught me that the steady one always wins the race. So
on.
that's what kept me
That's
pushing
good.
because I knew that we was gonna win this thing.
Yeah,
So,
we start
my
strong,
theme-
finish strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my theme was life lessons
Mm-hmm.
and to keep pushing, just like she did throughout this whole book.
Yes.
So Eve, we give you your flowers now, like Rae and all the girls said.
Yeah,
This was
absolutely.
motivational, inspiration.
Yes.
And it actually taught me because I'm not gonna lie, there were a few times while we were recording where I was like, okay, Lord, is this really what I was supposed to do? Because it's back to back.
And that's how you know that you're in the right vein, Jen.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you as well. Because you did follow through on something that anybody else would have said, you know what, I'm done with this.
I'm out.
I'm through.
I've been waiting on it.
I'm done. I would have done it, you know. So I don't have this type of time, you know. I can find other things to do easily, but the point is that you did follow through and that you were adamant, and it's just like how Eve was. Like she didn't let the naysayers or anything that had came the pushback stop her from doing the ultimate goal that she was after. She did not let that stop her. And you did the same exact thing. You didn't let any of that pushback. You didn't let any of the words. You didn't let any of whatever that was going on, the talk, all this and that, the chatter. You didn't let that stop you. As much as they would have liked to have stopped you, you didn't let it. And so that is why I give you your flowers, okay? And I thank you so much for even including me in this. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you
I know,
so,
thank you,
so
because
much.
I'm so happy we
stop.
met Firecracker Red. Thank you.
For real, for real.
Me too.
So, y'all.
Me too, because I'm going to tell you, when you get a word, when I wake up and I say,
Honey.
I have the potential to not have a good day today, let me call Rae and tell her
gonna
what's
light
going
it up
on
right
so
quick
that
for
I
you.
Baby,
can
we
light it up.
finna call down fire from heaven. You hear me?
And she does.
Because what we doing?
I love it.
And that's how we're supposed to be for each other.
Yep.
You know, like no matter what, like we all go through things. Every person goes through something. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
The outside, I tell people all the time, I just look like this, okay? This is nothing but a shell. It's going back to the dirt whenever God calls me home, okay?
Hello.
Just like everybody else. And so I try to understand that, yes, we're not going to all have good days.
Yeah.
We can look like we're having a good day. I can look like everything going right in my life, but I need someone solid
Yeah.
that can really be genuine and say, girl, guess what? You gonna make it. You gonna make it through this. You gonna make it through that. You gonna make it. And I'm gonna stand here with you
Right.
to reassure you that you got this.
10 toes
That's
deep.
what we should be for one another.
Yeah.
That's why.
And that's what we are
community's so
encouraging
important.
Yeah.
as we do this podcast
Yeah.
for the community out there, for whoever you are. This
Yeah.
is what we are promoting
Yes.
on this podcast.
Yeah.
So again,
And most importantly, in your community, the thing is when you meet your people, don't expect for your people to look like you.
That's it. That's
Because
good.
I purposely picked people that I knew that didn't think totally like me. Now I knew that I was picking solid women. I knew that I was picking like respectful women, kind women.
Yeah.
But I knew Because as y'all can see, we're all different.
We're different.
We're all different. And had I looked for somebody just like me, this wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
If everybody sat here just like me or just like Kyla or just like you, it would not have worked.
You're
thank you so much, and we appreciate y'all. Tune in for our next episode, which is definitely a treat. It will not be about the book.
No more books for now. Look,
Done.
It is going to be a surprise, and we do have a live coming up May 17th, so we will send out the flyers. But thank y'all so much. I'll hand it back over to Rae to sign us out.
Listen, everybody has said what they had to say. I am just, again, honored to be here.
Yes.
And
Thank
as
you
we
again,
close
Jenn.
out, y'all, stay tuned for what's next. We have nothing but blessings on top of blessings for you all, okay? That is what we are here for. Whatever we can do to encourage our community, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Let's be real.
Not right.
Well, that's it. And we hope you enjoyed this conversation about the lessons we learn and still carry with us through life. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed us, don't be stingy. Share. And if you're new here, tap the subscribe button, follow us, and don't miss the last 2 episodes. There's something very special ahead. Keep it real, and don't forget who you are.